The horse came back again, same exact spot, every single day. At first, the rancher thought it was just wandering. But then he noticed something strange. The animal wasn't grazing, wasn't resting. It was standing perfectly still, staring at the ground like it was waiting for something. He tried moving it away. He tried locking it in the barn. Even tried riding it far across the land. But nothing worked. By the next morning, it was back. Same place. Same behavior. Same silent stare. That's when people started whispering. Animals don't act like that for no reason. Digging up that ground was the last thing anyone wanted to do. Because that land had a history no one talked about. Something buried there years ago. Something forgotten. Or maybe, something they wanted to stay buried forever. And when the first shovel hit the dirt, the horse let out a sound no one had ever heard before. Before you go, make sure you subscribe first for more amazing mystery stories like this. Now don't forget to comment below and tell us what you think was buried in that ground. Your theory matters. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this story, it really helps the channel grow. Also share this video with your friends so they can enjoy the mystery too. And finally, press the bell icon so you never miss our next shocking story. A quiet ranch on the edge of a forgotten valley is introduced, showing a calm but isolated environment where nothing unusual normally happens. The setting establishes silence, distance from nearby towns, and a sense of abandonment that makes any small event feel significant. A single horse begins appearing every morning at the exact same spot just before sunrise, breaking the normal routine of the ranch and immediately drawing attention. At first, the ranch owner assumes it is ordinary animal wandering behavior, something that could happen due to habit, instinct, or random movement across open land. He ignores it, believing it has no real meaning and expecting the behavior to stop on its own. However, the horse continues returning without fail, always arriving at the same time and standing in the same position, which slowly begins to create doubt in his mind. The horse does not behave like a normal grazing animal. Instead, it stands completely still, facing one specific patch of ground as if it is focused on something invisible beneath the surface. There is no eating, no walking around, and no typical animal activity. Its entire presence feels fixed and intentional, as though it is waiting for something to happen at that exact location. Even when the ranch owner approaches the horse, it does not react in fear or move away aggressively. It remains calm but firmly fixed in place, only shifting slightly without losing focus on the same ground. This unusual lack of response adds to the mystery, as most animals would normally react to human presence or attempt to escape. This behavior repeats day after day with no variation. Each morning, the horse returns before sunrise and repeats the exact same actions, creating a pattern that becomes impossible to ignore. The ranch owner begins to feel uneasy, sensing that this is no longer random behavior but something more deliberate, though he cannot explain why. The environment around the spot also feels different. The land is unusually silent, almost heavier than the rest of the ranch, as if sound itself is reduced in that area. Other animals begin avoiding it naturally, refusing to walk near the same patch of ground, even without being forced or directed away. As time passes, the horse's persistence starts to feel intentional rather than instinctive. It is not just returning, it is waiting. The repetition creates a sense that the animal is connected to the location in a deeper way that cannot be easily understood. Small physical clues begin to appear, such as disturbed soil, repeated hoof marks, and worn ground that shows constant revisiting of the exact same point. Ranch hands begin noticing the pattern and quietly discussing it among themselves, each offering different theories but none able to explain it properly. The area slowly gains a reputation among them as being unusual or marked, as if the horse recognizes something hidden there that humans cannot see. A growing sense of mystery surrounds the location. The horse's behavior begins to feel less like confusion and more like anticipation, as if it is waiting for a specific moment or event tied to the ground itself. This shift makes the situation more unsettling for everyone observing it. Eventually, the ranch owner decides to start recording the horse's movements to confirm whether it is truly consistent or just coincidence. After several days of observation, every recorded detail matches exactly. The same time, the same position, the same behavior without deviation. With each passing day, the mystery deepens further. No natural explanation seems to fit the pattern anymore, and what once appeared to be a strange habit now feels like a deliberate signal pointing toward something hidden beneath the ground. The horse's behavior begins to intensify as it arrives even earlier than before, often appearing before the first hint of sunrise. This shift in timing makes the ranch owner realize the pattern is becoming more precise rather than fading away. The animal no longer shows any interest in normal ranch surroundings, ignoring movement, noise, and even food placed nearby, as if nothing matters except the same exact spot on the ground. Every attempt to redirect the horse starts failing more clearly. When someone tries to lead it away, it resists without aggression, simply returning with calm determination. Even when temporarily moved farther from the location, it manages to return on its own within hours, reinforcing the idea that its focus is not accidental but deeply fixed. As the days continue, the horse's posture becomes more rigid and concentrated. It stands in the same position for long periods without shifting its attention, creating an almost unsettling stillness. The ground beneath it becomes more disturbed over time, showing repeated pressure from its hooves, as if it has been standing there for something far longer than expected. The ranch owner begins experimenting with stronger control methods, including tying the horse in different areas and restricting its movement. However, none of these attempts succeed for long. Each time, the horse either breaks free or is found again at the same location without explanation, reinforcing the idea that its behavior cannot be controlled through normal means. This persistence begins affecting the entire ranch environment. Workers start adjusting their routines to avoid the area, sensing discomfort whenever they pass nearby. The once normal working space slowly becomes a place people avoid, not because of danger, but because of the strange feeling attached to it. Veterinary checks are conducted to rule out physical illness or injury, but no abnormalities are found. The horse appears completely healthy, making its behavior even more confusing. There is no medical explanation, no visible trauma, and no sign of distress that would normally cause such repetitive action. The situation shifts from curiosity to concern as the ranch owner realizes the behavior is consistent even when observed continuously. Night monitoring shows the horse becoming restless when away from the spot, pacing or refusing to settle until it is allowed to return at dawn. This reinforces the idea that the location itself is the center of its focus. The emotional tone of the situation also changes. What once seemed like a simple behavioral oddity now feels more serious, as if the horse is connected to something deeper than instinct. The silence around the area grows heavier, and the repetition of the pattern begins to feel less like chance and more like purpose. As the pattern continues without any change, the ranch owner and workers start to feel that they are not dealing with ordinary animal behavior anymore. Instead, it feels like something unresolved is tied to that exact piece of land, and the horse is the only one responding to it in a way humans cannot yet understand. The strange behavior of the horse begins to spread concern beyond just the ranch owner, as workers and nearby locals start noticing it and discussing it in low voices. What was once seen as an unusual routine slowly turns into something unsettling that no one can easily explain. The repeated return to the same exact spot begins to feel less like coincidence and more like a signal tied to the land itself. As fear and curiosity grow together, rumors begin forming among the workers. Some believe the horse is reacting to something buried underground, while others think it may be linked to an old incident that happened long before the current ranch owner took control of the property. These theories are not based on facts, but they start influencing how people behave around the area. Attention slowly shifts toward the history of the land. The ranch owner begins asking questions and searching for any records connected to the property. He discovers that the land has changed ownership multiple times over the years, with little documentation explaining why previous owners left or sold it so quickly. This lack of clear history deepens the mystery rather than solving it. Locals who have lived nearby for a long time become hesitant when asked about the area. Some avoid the topic entirely, while others give vague answers that suggest something unusual happened in the past, though no one clearly explains what it was. This silence creates an even stronger sense that the land holds a secret people prefer not to talk about. Old maps and documents begin showing subtle changes in the land layout near the exact spot where the horse keeps returning. While nothing clearly confirms anything strange, the inconsistencies raise more questions. The ranch owner starts realizing that the focus point of the horse's behavior may have historical significance. As uncertainty grows, the emotional atmosphere on the ranch shifts. Workers become more cautious, avoiding unnecessary time near the location. Even daylight work feels uncomfortable when it is close to the spot, as if the land itself carries an unseen pressure that affects anyone nearby. Despite the fear, curiosity also grows stronger. The ranch owner becomes increasingly determined to understand what is hidden beneath the surface. The horse's behavior feels too precise and consistent to be random, pushing him to believe there must be a physical reason connected to the ground. The mystery gradually transforms from a simple animal behavior case into something tied to memory, history, and possibly loss. The horse remains the only constant presence, standing at the same place every day, as if guarding a truth that no one else remembers or understands. By the end of this phase, the situation reaches a turning point. The ranch is no longer just dealing with a strange animal. It is now facing a question that seems connected to the past of the land itself, and the answer appears to be hidden exactly where the horse refuses to leave. The ranch owner becomes increasingly frustrated as all attempts to understand or control the horse fail, pushing him toward more direct action. What once felt like a strange curiosity now becomes a serious problem affecting daily life on the ranch. The horse continues returning to the exact same spot without any change in behavior, as if nothing in the world matters except that single point on the ground. In an effort to break the pattern, the owner decides to physically move the horse far away from the ranch, believing distance might weaken its connection to the location. The horse is taken several miles away and kept under strict supervision. However, the next morning, it is found back at the same spot as before, calm and unmoved, as if it never left. After this failure, stronger barriers are introduced. Fences are reinforced, gates are locked, and workers are instructed to keep constant watch. Yet the horse continues to return, sometimes within hours, sometimes overnight, always appearing again at the exact same position without hesitation. Each return strengthens the sense that ordinary control is completely ineffective. As the pattern continues, more aggressive ideas are considered, including sedating the horse to prevent movement. However, this option is debated and eventually rejected due to concern for the animal's safety and the lack of understanding of what is actually driving its behavior. The uncertainty makes every possible solution feel risky. The emotional strain on the ranch begins to grow. Workers feel tired of repeated failures, and some begin avoiding responsibility for dealing with the horse altogether. What was once just an unusual situation now feels like an ongoing burden that no one can resolve, slowly affecting morale and daily operations. Constant surveillance is introduced to rule out human interference or external influence. Cameras are placed around the area to monitor every movement of the horse. The recordings confirm that nothing or no one is causing its return. It simply leaves and comes back on its own, without any visible trigger or manipulation. The horse itself shows no signs of stress or confusion. Instead, it remains focused, calm, and completely fixed on the same ground, reinforcing the idea that its behavior is not random but driven by something deeply internal or instinctive. This consistency makes the mystery even harder to ignore. As time passes, frustration turns into deeper concern. The ranch owner starts questioning whether the problem is not about controlling the horse, but about understanding why that exact location matters so much. The idea that something is hidden or connected to that spot becomes harder to dismiss. By the end of these attempts, it becomes clear that force, distance, and restriction have no effect. The horse is not reacting like a normal animal. It is following a pattern that seems stronger than any human intervention. This realization leads the ranch owner toward a final and more dangerous decision, uncovering what lies beneath the ground itself. With every failed attempt to stop the horse, the ranch owner reaches a point where frustration turns into determination. The situation is no longer seen as a strange animal habit, but as something that demands a direct answer. The repeated return to the exact same spot makes it clear that the truth is not about controlling the horse, but about what is hidden beneath the ground. After days of hesitation, the decision is made to dig at the exact location the horse has been guarding. The workers gather tools and gather around the spot, aware that whatever is uncovered may change everything they thought they knew about the land. The horse reacts differently this time, not restless or confused, but unusually calm, as if it is waiting for the moment to finally arrive. The first shovel breaks the surface of the soil, and an immediate silence spreads across the group. The ground feels different compared to the rest of the ranch, denser and more compact, as if it has not been touched for a very long time. Each layer removed adds to the tension, and no one speaks as the digging continues deeper. As the hole expands, subtle signs begin to appear that suggest something unusual was placed there intentionally. The soil shows signs of disturbance that do not match natural settling. Small fragments or changes in texture hint that the ground may have been altered in the past for a specific reason rather than left untouched naturally. Throughout the process, the horse remains completely focused on the digging. It stands at a short distance, watching every movement without fear or aggression. Its behavior feels almost emotional, as if it recognizes what is being uncovered and understands that a long-awaited moment is finally unfolding. The workers begin to slow down as the depth increases. The atmosphere becomes heavier, and the feeling grows that they are approaching something significant. Every layer of soil removed feels like peeling back a forgotten part of history that was never meant to be disturbed. At one point, the digging reveals objects or signs that clearly do not belong to natural ground formation, confirming that something was deliberately placed or hidden beneath the surface. This discovery changes the tone completely, shifting the situation from mystery to revelation. The ranch owner realizes that the horse's behavior was not random at all. It was connected to whatever is buried here. The consistency of its actions suddenly makes sense, as if it has been waiting for this exact moment for a long time. As the digging reaches its final stages, anticipation builds to its highest point. Everyone present understands that whatever is about to be uncovered will finally explain the strange behavior that started it all, and it may reveal a truth that no one on the ranch was prepared to face. The digging finally reaches its deepest point, and the tension among everyone present becomes almost unbearable. After days of confusion and unanswered questions, the ground finally gives way to something that does not belong there. What appears is clearly man-made, confirming that the location was chosen and used for a purpose in the past, not just naturally forgotten land. As the object or hidden structure becomes fully visible, the horse reacts for the first time in an emotional and noticeable way. Its calm breaks slightly, showing signs of recognition and distress, as if it has been connected to this place far longer than anyone realized. This reaction confirms that its behavior was never random. It was tied directly to whatever has just been uncovered. The ranch owner slowly begins to understand that the horse was not simply returning to a spot, but responding to memory, instinct, or something deeply connected to the buried truth. The discovery reveals that the land holds a forgotten story, possibly involving loss, concealment, or an event that was never meant to be found again. As more details are revealed, it becomes clear that the hidden object is linked to the ranch's past ownership or a long-forgotten incident that explains why previous owners may have left suddenly. The mystery shifts from an animal behavior case into a human history revelation buried beneath years of silence. Emotion spreads across everyone at the site. What started as fear and confusion turns into shock and realization. The horse stands quietly now, no longer returning or pacing, as if its purpose has been fulfilled. Its repeated visits finally make sense. It was never searching blindly, it was returning to something it remembered. The ranch owner reflects on everything that led to this moment. Every failed attempt to stop the horse, every rumor, and every strange detail now connects into a single explanation. The behavior was not random instinct, but a response to something deeply tied to the land's forgotten past. After the discovery, a strange calm settles over the ranch. The pressure that once surrounded the area feels lifted, as if uncovering the truth has resolved something unfinished. The horse no longer shows urgency to return to the exact spot, signaling that whatever it was connected to has finally been acknowledged. In the end, the buried truth changes the understanding of the entire ranch. What was once seen as a mystery of animal behavior becomes a story of memory, history, and hidden events that shaped the land long before anyone realized. The discovery leaves a lasting impact, proving that some secrets remain hidden until something, or someone, forces them to be remembered.